Hiya. How often do you make excuses? Like, how often in the course of a normal day or week or month do you find yourself making excuses? How often do you hear excuses coming out of your mouth? And how often do you just think an excuse? The reason I ask is because as humans, I think we're really good at a lot of things, but we've got making excuses off to a T. We started doing it from being really little. Like when we were little kids, we made excuses, but we weren't that good at it. I suppose we were just practicing, but we were making excuses and they were pretty obvious to spot. But then as teenagers, oh wow, we really started to hone this as an art form. Oh, we really started to make our excuses a lot cleverer. And if you live with any teenagers, you'll know this. The excuses just kind of ramp up a bit in our teenage years. But then as adults, we've become so good at excuses and they've become so intricate that we can't even spot them ourselves. I've got a bag full of excuses that I make that I don't even know are excuses, and so have you. Because, effectively, we've been making excuses our entire lives. It's like a complete art form, and we make them sound so honourable, and they're so clever, and they're so intricate, that we don't even know they're excuses. And nobody pulls us up on it. Like, our mates just kind of nod along, our families nod along with it, because they don't really want to upset us, even if they do spot it. So here's the problem is we're all walking around with all these excuses that actually aren't helping us in any way whatsoever. Well, the reason we do it, actually, is we make excuses because it gets us off the hook. If we can blame something else and we don't have to do anything about it, and boy do we blame. Like, we blame our upbringing, our past, our parents, our siblings, our neighbours, our friends. We blame our bosses, our workplaces. We blame our governments. We blame the weather, we blame our metabolism. Oh, we have got a list and bag full of excuses that we can just pull out as and when we need them. But the problem with excuses is that while we're making excuses, we're rendering ourselves stuck. While you're making excuses, you can't do anything about it. You can't change, you can't grow, you can't shift the circumstances you find yourself in while you're making excuses. Excuses get us off the hook, but they render us stuck at the same time. So here's the challenge. Can you really start to spot yourself making these excuses? Like every time one comes out of your mouth or you think one in your head, can you just challenge yourself? Is that really true or is that just an excuse? And if it's an excuse, try and throw it out and start to ask yourself, hang on, what responsibility and ownership can I take here? What change can I make? Because while you're making excuses, nothing's going to change. Things are going to stay the same. It's only when we start to kick them out and take ownership and responsibility that we can move forward and make a difference to our circumstances. Good luck with this. Take care of yourselves.